You ready, folks? You ready, commissioners?
Yep.
Okay, you ready there, camera? Okay. This is the Board of Public Works meeting. It's Tuesday, April 16, 2024. We're starting at 6:04. It's at the DPW Media Room, 965 Plain Street. It's being recorded by Marshfield Community TV. We have an appointment, 6:10 presentation for Environmental Partners Lead Service Line Grant Application and Inventory at 6:30 p.m. Probably can go earlier. Abatement issue, Current and Caruso. Action items, number 1, Board of Public Works Town Meeting Articles. 2 is Drain Layers Application. 3 is Accept FEMA Grant 2022 BRIC Marshfield Dyke Road Sluiceway Improvement Project Preliminary Design and Permitting. We have a discussion, capital outlay request approved by Capital Outlay Committee. Trail at Winslow Ave Extension improvements. We have a vote to accept minutes of March 25th, 2024, open meeting minutes. We have a superintendent's report, and our next meeting is at town meeting April 22nd, 2024. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Aye.
No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3-0. Okay. We're going to open up the appointment. It's I'm sorry, at 6:10. So it's you, Tyler, and you, Lauren.
Thank you.
You've got the floor.
Thank you very much. So, we're from Environmental Partners. My name is Lauren Underwood. I'm a project manager. Also here with me today is Tyler Schmidt, also a project manager. We are supporting the Department of Public Works with the lead service line inventory project, which is an EPA mandated requirement of all water utilities in the entire nation. So Tyler here is our subject matter expert on this. This is why we have him here today, to walk you through the history and kind of the expectations associated with the program. We'll also give you an update on kind of where we stand now and what we're looking to kind of get your buy-in on to allow us to move on to next steps.
Okay.
So from here, I'll give it to Tyler.
So in terms of the actual regulatory requirements, so in 2021, the EPA issued the lead and copper rule revisions. It was revisions to the lead and copper rule that was enacted in the 1990s. And in the revisions, they required an inventory of water system services from the main to the meter for all connected properties. And what they're looking for is lead or galvanized lead line pipe, because they want everything inventoried and eventually replaced. The requirement right now does not have any replacements in the existing requirement. They're currently proposing another revision called the lead and copper improvements that is still in the comment period. But to comply with the lead and copper revisions of 2021, by October 16th of this year, all water systems have to submit an inventory to Mass DEP indicating what the private side and the public side of each service is. Now that inventory can be unknown. It has to be submitted as such, but the state of Massachusetts will see all unknown materials as lead until proven otherwise. So effectively, the goal is to basically determine what kind of materials we have in the system and ultimately remove the lead. Any questions on that?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Go ahead, Bob.
First question is, all we're doing is an inventory.
Correct.
And then, so my question is, what is the time frame after getting the inventory of actually helping residents out for replacement?
So Mass DEP would like,
Sorry.
yeah, no problem. So Mass DEP, when we submit the inventory in October, they also want us to submit a report detailing how we put the inventory together, but also a recommended plan for replacements within a targeted 5-year window. Now that is not a requirement right now, but that's what they want to see. So they want to see a replacement plan. They're targeting 5 years. The 5-year window is not a regulatory requirement as of right now. So depending on what we find, we obviously would work with the DPW to come up with a plan that is suitable to you before we proceed to tell it to the state.
Okay. I have other questions. So after we get this whole inventory in, after we submit it to the state, after we have a plan to rehabilitate it, who's gonna pay for it?
Great question.
Great question.
Is this a grant?
Yes.
So this inventory step is a grant. The state revolving fund has put money forth to get
The
water
inventory.
systems up to compliance with the inventory. And they're proposing funding requests for replacement to go through the standard DWSRF process, which is a zero interest loan, or a low interest loan, I should say, depending on the community, for replacements. And they are currently assigning lead service line replacement in the same category as PFAS. So it's got a very high threshold in terms of priority in the state level for the SRF fund. So from the state's perspective, they're trying to promote encouragement of the SRF funds for replacement.
So thinking about the finance of it, because, you know, we have 10,000 hookups, I believe we have 10,000 hookups, right? And, you know, maybe half of them would basically newly built, that would be all plastic, we wouldn't even have a problem with them. But there's probably 1,000, say 1,000 out of that, 10%. And they're probably in the low, or the older section of town where the values aren't as high. So people don't have as much money. The question I have is the state, the grant program, it's actually not a grant program, it's a loan program that the town would have to apply to do that. So that means the town water department would have to make the connection or replacement, or do we have local contractors? And then the homeowner, you know, deals with the local contractor, and we give them some kind of grant or some financial aid.
May I?
Yeah, sure.
You're
So-
not the chair yet.
There's a program on the Cape to, for homeowners to replace their septic system, and it's a grant, a low-interest loan,
It's a loan,
and it goes on your tax bill,
right,
and you pay $20 a month until it's paid off.
yeah.
I
Marshall
could-
is the same thing.
I could see us doing the same thing with this, and you would hire a private contractor to do the work. Because correct me if I'm wrong, from the street into the house is their issue anyways, right, Paul?
Yeah, from the street into the house.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
We're
no.
responsible from the main to the shut-off.
So you need.
We're not responsible from the shut-off into the house, we're not responsible.
No,
No.
No, wait a minute, now, I'm a licensed master plumber,
Okay.
so we need a plumbing permit to hook up to the meter.
yeah, drain line.
Yeah, no, yeah, Bobby, I do this for a living.
Well, the majority of the houses would be copper lines anyway.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I've never seen any lead.
An actual lead service line, I've never
No,
seen.
I had one in Brighton, I owned a home in Brighton, I had lead coming in.
Do you do work in Marshfield?
Yeah,
So your information and expertise would actually be very helpful
Yeah.
when completing the inventory. Anything that you physically observed, if you remember the locations and the addresses, we can use your information to populate.
well, what I observed and is galvanized. But we could tell that just, you know, coming through the floor or in a crawl space, because you can see it. But most of those have filled, when you take it out, they're filled up, you don't even know water can flow through it. You know, it's so corroded inside. So most of those would be in the cottages, in the beach area.
Yeah, and the majority of those over the years have been
Right,
rebuilt and,
Yeah, so I have.
To be in your neighborhood. No, I mean, because I mean, a lot of the other sections, there might be newer homes, and it's been, we've been doing plastic for the last 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah, it'll be in the beach area
Yeah.
mostly.
Right.
Yeah.
But the issue is, in the beach area, the people down there don't have as much money as other sections of town. So the question, and they're gonna have to hire a contractor. So I'm really looking at it, it's like, and they don't have the money. And is there a way that we do a grant program and the town picks up something? We go to town meeting with a grant program to pick up, you know, because water's important. Because I mean, we're gonna get the same thing with PFAS. I mean, it's in people's private wells.
You're gonna have to do it the same way that the Cape does it. You're gonna have to put it on their tax bill and let them pay it off over time. It's the only way they're gonna be able to do it, because they
Okay,
can't
so-
afford it.
Well, who pays the initial, say, like Powell does it, Powell is one of them.
The county. The county pays
The town would pay.
So you gotta look a little further than the town, because this is gonna be a situation that's gonna affect everybody, correct me if I'm wrong,
Right.
not just the town of Marshfield.
Of course.
I would start looking for a county program, where the county pays the contractor to come in and install the water line when they see fit, and it goes on the tax bill, and that's gonna be worked out with town hall, how they do it. But you're on the right track, but I think we need to look a little
Well,
further
in
ahead.
Marshfield, I went to the Board of Health 10 years ago, because DEP had a septic system plan, and that we could accept a low-interest loan for, 50 septic systems to be up, and it was managed and controlled by the Board of Health.
In a sense, yes.
Yeah, right. So the question I have is, who's going to be the governmental entity that, since this is water, is this going to be the water department, or is this going to be the board of Health? Because it's lead and PFAS is really a
Right.
public health issue. It's a water quality issue, not necessarily a water supply issue.
Right.
I-
It does fall in the DPW, and there's a couple different options as far as where
Yeah,
construction comes into play. Like, there is the SRF loan, like Tyler explained. And I believe that in order to utilize that, you do have to replace all the way to the house. You can't just do to the curb stop, is that right?
Yeah, so in terms of any federal money being spent on replacements, the EPA came out, this was several years ago now, but they worked in conjunction with the CDC and determined that a partial replacement of a lead service line is actually more damaging for someone's health than not touching it
Right.
at all. So because of that research, they basically said federal money cannot be spent on partial replacements. So if the DPW owned the street side of the service and wanted to replace it, but the homeowner refused to participate in a replacement on the private side, that money that comes from the federal government cannot be spent on that work.
So, having this discussion, I'm thinking that it's not just the DPW, my point was, it's not just the DPW, the Board of Health is involved in this.
The Board of Health can very much be involved in this, correct?
Is because they are the ones that give the occupancy permit for a house. And if there's a lead problem, or a PFAS problem, or something else, water quality problem, they had a private well, it would be the public health. So basically, we and the Board of Health have to partner on some kind of program. And someone's gotta manage it. And I don't think it's gonna be the county, I think it's gonna be on the local level, which would be the Marshfield component.
Be the Marshfield water.
Huh?
Might be Paul on the
Yeah.
main coming in from the
Right.
curb stop, coming all the way to the meter pit.
So this is a little bit on
Well,
the advent start of things, because we really don't know what the inventory is. So
Exactly.
it's-
So that's the first step.
Yeah, so the first step is to get the inventory.
Yeah.
I was just kind of thinking about what's the next step after that, and how to fund it and all that.
We'll have to
But,
figure that out.
We'll figure that out. when we-
And that'll all be documented in our
Yeah.
technical memo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
our memorandum is gonna go into how many we identified,
Yeah.
how many we still need to identify, because there's still gonna be some unknowns.
Yeah,
So we wanna further classify those before we go tell a contractor to dig up someone's yard. So there's gonna be a portion that we've identified as requiring replacement. A good chunk of the town is gonna be identified as not requiring replacement. And then another portion will be identified as still unknown. And so we're gonna document all of this to the town as well as to DEP. And we're going to look into your system as a whole. We'll look at water system capital improvement planning. If you guys are planning to replace the water main in a street anyway, we could add any properties in that area to get full replacement as part of that project. You know, if you're gonna be digging up the road, why not bring the service for a few properties that are impacted by this to the meter, get them taken care of out of a different project. We'll
Yeah.
look into We'll look into a variety of other projects regarding additional identification. You know, we can look into home inspections, we can look into meter replacement records, we can look into a consumer lead service line identification plan, which we've looked into for other communities as well. So we're gonna basically do a holistic approach, look at everything townwide to see how
Do
we
the
can,
inventory.
how we could do the inventory, but also save money on future initiatives to remove the lead and to further identify unknowns.
Who's gonna do the inventory?
We will.
Okay, so to me, being in this business, it's just at the meter fit. It's coming either into the crawl space or through the concrete slab. It's either galvanized or copper or plastic.
And we want to identify the galvanized, because
Yeah,
galvanized.
I mean, it's somewhat easy to do. I mean, you just either go in the basement or find the meter and look at what's coming through the ground. If it's galvy, it's galvy. If it's copper, it's copper. There's no lead. I've never seen any.
Yep. And before we spend the money going in to do home inspections for every property in town, we'll look at the records first. So we want to see what is recorded, what is identified, and then we'll,
I don't think there's just a savings one. I don't think there's anything recorded.
For,
Galvanized.
the water
Yeah.
service tie cards?
yeah, we have all the tie cards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
I
grab
was
those from
supposed
you
to give it
today,
to
yeah. The problem is DEP
I
is
thought you were dead.
requiring this effort. They're even requiring this for Eastham, the brand new water system that was built in 2015, which very clearly there's no lead. They're still requiring this effort to go through the documentation, complete this very long inventory. It's like 20 different columns of information. So it sounds like it should be an easy task, but it's like extremely involved. And I do want to get into the grant application. So,
Can I just say something?
yeah,
So this is about lead?
yes.
Well, up until some years back, the solder that was used is 50 lead, 50 tin on all copper. It's in every house. It's everywhere. So anything,
So the requirement right now is on public water systems. So
Okay,
the water
I
department
understand.
is meeting the requirement. So as of right now, the requirement is to inventory the service, but anything inside the house for plumbing is outside of the scope of DEP's
but it's something to think
enforcement
about.
action.
It's something to,
Correct, it is, yes, but
Yeah,
it's
because-
outside of the scope of the enforcement action of this
well,
governing.
I understand that. But down the road, it might come into play,
Correct.
depending.
It just likely won't be something that the water department is responsible for.
Oh, I know that. No, it's the homeowner.
Would be the Board of Health.
It would probably likely be the Board of
Well, it'd be a
Health.
test on the water. To get rid of it, you just run the water from it. Don't use standing water in the morning
Yeah,
when it stands all night.
Could you have the homeowner just take a photograph of it, have them send it in?
yeah, so there's a consumer lead service line identification program that could be implemented that would basically, we'd have to set up infrastructure with a website and everything, and they type in what they think, take a photo of it.
You could tell from a photo, right?
Yeah,
Copper or whatever.
or copper, plastic,
Right.
Galvy's easy to,
Anything you can identify by a photo, then you could just do a site walk. Okay.
One of the things I wanted them to come here tonight and explain to you is how the grant process works.
right.
Because it's complicated, and you folks should weigh in on it, so.
So, in terms of how the grant works, is that the grant basically pays for our services to do the inventory. So, DEP realized that one of the limiting factors in getting these projects moving forward and kicked off and everything in compliance is in, professional services to get things up to date. So DEP came out with a grant program. They initially funded it for the state with $20 million. And a lot of communities are taking advantage of it. Like, we filed applications for well over 12 communities at this point. So the program is still active right now, but there is a time, like once we get approval to move forward from town, we have to file everything to the state. And the SRF program in Mass DEP reviews it, and then they give us a notice to proceed to get moving. So pretty much the main body of the application itself is our professional services agreement with the town, clarifying that we're going to meet the requirements of the lead and copper revisions, and we're going to submit everything in accordance with how they want to see it.
You need our approval, or you need our vote to move forward? Are we gonna
We'll need a
vote?
signed contract, and that can be by Sean if you approve it. I have some copies here I can show you. So the effort that we're talking about is pretty substantial because it is several thousand services that we need to inventory, and that's both on the public and private side. So it does turn out to be a large number, but like Tyler said, it's completely reimbursable under the grant.
We have it, yeah.
You do have it?
We have the contract.
Great, perfect.
I'm saving the extra step.
Thanks, appreciate that. So, the grant program itself does not require an appropriation by the town, but you still need to be able to sign the
Yeah, we're
contract.
still on the hook from the contract.
Right.
Okay.
And typically what we like to do is submit the reimbursement request to the state every 3 months on a quarterly basis.
Yeah, but we have to sign off on it because
Right.
we're the client.
Yep,
Correct.
I wanted to say one thing about your concept of if we were going to do a water main and pick up everybody's house. It becomes, there's a major legal requirement there that, there's a reason why the homeowner is responsible from the main to the house. And it has to deal with the, access agreements, and if there's something, liability, if we screw up something on their private property. So, we have to be careful about, being Mr. Nice Guy, because we'll end up getting sued over it. So anytime we do that, we'd have to have a real good access agreement to protect the town. That's all.
yep.
Correct.
Okay,
Okay.
so do we want to make a motion to allow Sean to move forward with accepting the contract?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to enter into agreement for engineering and supplementary services in connection with the lead service inventory with environmental partners on this date to apply for any state and federal grants that go along with this for the purpose of the inventory.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a question before you
Yes,
leave.
sure.
So you're still in the signing of the agreement phase with H-Town? You haven't started actually doing any inventory?
We have, actually.
Are you having any issues with accessing information from homeowners?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
we
all right.
perfectly are, yeah. So every community is different. Some records are better than others, some situations are worse than others. But we've been, we do a pretty comprehensive look, and we meet with every community to see what the unique situations are and try to, adapt as see fit. So
Okay.
we basically, when we priced out this contract, we basically assumed 5 minutes per tie card, or per review. And if we get through it faster, well, there's some additional money to go find a different step. So usually if it's a tie card that has no viable information on it, okay, well, that took 30 seconds. Okay, well, now we have more time to go look at other sources of information. Maybe they've had a water meter replacement program and they already took photos of all the services in the areas. Maybe they've had a sewer I&I program where they've already been in the basement and taken photos and documented the service. Maybe there was a water main replaced in the area, so we might not know still a lot about the private side, but on the public side, we know that the service has been renewed within the last 10 plus years, whatever it is. So we look at everything kind of holistically and we adapt as needed to get as much information as we can, as efficiently as possible.
You know who might be of some help is the contractors, such as Kevin Powell, there's Clancy, they do this work in the town. And, they might have, Kevin's been doing it forever, so is Clancy. And, they might have information on the homes that they've
They've
changed the
replaced the service
service
for.
out,
Yeah.
because that's who you call. But are you having trouble with anybody getting into their home to take a look at the meter or take a look at something?
So as of right now, for most of our projects right now, the way we're doing it is because to meet the requirements of the inventory, we do not need to do home inspections.
Okay,
Home inspections are useful. I personally see home inspections as a useful second step that is beyond the October deadline. So the goal is to, let's take the,
Data that you have.
the data that we have,
Yeah.
we'll submit it, and this is what we have based on the data.
Yeah.
And then it's much cheaper and easier to do a project where you have to do 5,000 home inspections versus 15,000 home inspections.
Right.
And so, where we will definitely move into that process, but that's usually after the October deadline. Because we're trying to be as efficient with the funds as we possibly can.
Yeah, and October is the deadline, this October.
This
Right.
October is the deadline, correct?
Question
You
I-
lose control as soon as you start putting it in the homeowner's court, right? So we want to make sure we have control over that.
Question I
data.
have for Rod and Paul. Is this something that we need to put in the water bill, let people know that we're working on something like this?
Like a
I know we have
letter,
the,
you
we have the
mean?
CCR report, but what we do, and that, we put the bill out, should we put a flyer in the
flyer.
actual bill?
To ask them.
Probably not a bad idea, have them send a
Just to
picture.
give them a heads up.
Just to
that
let them,
it's gonna
just to
have
let
a
them know
certain-
there's an inventory going on, could you
Yeah.
please, you know.
And that.
Provide any
may-
information
And maybe
that you
have
can.
something on the webpage. So
All
if
the
somebody,
information,
so
yeah.
if somebody inspects their own house and say, hey, if you suspect that you might have a galvanized water main, could you contact this person at town hall, at the water department?
Yeah, and we can help with that, with any flyers or any consumer outreach information, we can definitely help assist prepare that. What I recommend is before you request information from the public, have a process in place or a medium in place to deal with the flow of information, because it can easily become overwhelming
Right.
if you don't have everything in place and you have 11,000 customers calling you saying, here's what I have.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that, that's why I'm bringing up the issue is that I know you're doing the paper chase first,
Correct.
just like the movie. But that only goes so far, and then you have to, I mean, 80% of every job we ever do is a piece of cake. Then it goes, the last 20, the 10% is, of that 20 is not that bad, but when you get into the last 10, it becomes very difficult.
Correct.
And it's a logistic nightmare.
Yep, so we're trying to minimize that pool as much as we can, so we're not dealing with thousands of people, we're dealing with hundreds of people. And we just want to kind of minimize it so we can put the time where it's needed the most.
Okay, I asked you a question. I know the problem with lead. What's the problem with galvan?
Galvanized could be lead lined on the inside.
Yeah, could be.
So DEP sees it
Yeah.
cautiously.
Okay, I mean, it's a little bit out.
And the other thing is galvanized pipes often had lead goosenecks. So a gooseneck at the main, so, because galvanized pipe is rigid pipe, so when you got to the main, they put a lead gooseneck to wrap around the main.
Sort of a 50/50.
So,
I've done it. In Boston, I've worked copper to lead,
yeah,
which is, Boston, it's everywhere.
Boston, it's everywhere.
It is.
A lot of the cities have it worse than.
Much worse.
All lead coming
Oh,
in.
but don't do it.
Yeah,
You peen it out, you stick your copper in, clean it up, put some flux on and solder it. That's it.
Here's one other question.
Go for it.
Do you have a template for, like an information flyer that you're suggesting? That, are other communities sending something like that out?
so we have,
and-
we have a bunch of public information templates we've prepared.
Okay.
That we've just kind of, throughout this process, through this program, we've established mailing, letters, flyers.
Are you gonna just
presentations.
recommend what you think we should use, or do we have to ask for something specific on that?
So what we'll do is, like, what we do is we'll have a meeting with DPW and we will, we'll adapt our template as we see fit, and we'll have a discussion and see, like,
Okay.
we'll try to make it as easy as possible,
Okay,
basically.
good, cool.
So
Okay.
one more thing we could use a vote on before we go is just formally naming Sean as the authorized representative for use in the grant application submission. That allows him to make decisions on behalf of the grant. There's a couple of pieces of paperwork he needs to sign. I've shared all this with him previously, so.
So I'll make a motion to authorize the superintendent to act in the board's no, the board's authorization.
Authority. Board's behalf.
Authorization on any grant signatures and contract relating to this project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There you go.
Thank you. So
Thank
you guys
you.
get a copy
Thank
of
you
this
very
and
much,
send it.
Sarah.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank
Thanks,
you both.
Paul.
Thank you.
So we'll
You're
catch
up.
up with the rest of the grant requirements. You can sign that paper now, signature A.
Did I just sign something?
Nope, that's different, so.
Is it another?
Do you remember the Section A form from the grant application? Now that you're authorized representative. You can sign that. You wanna do it now?
I'd like to take a 5-minute break.
What? Abatement is here.
We're back on?
Ms. Caruso and Mr. Curry. So you want to come up and Okay, so you're here for the water bill that was denied by the superintendent.
Yes.
So, go ahead, give us just a quick overview of what the issue is, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so basically the issue is my parents, Mary and Maureen Curran, live at 81 Brunswick Street.
Excuse me, you gotta give me a name for...
Yeah. So my parents, Mary and Maureen Curran, live at 81 Brunswick Street, over in Wrexham Beach. My name's Beth Caruso, I'm their daughter. So I'm here on their behalf, because for the past couple of years, and then basically for the last year, both my parents have been living with me. My dad was down in Florida for a bit, but my mom is basically, for medical reasons, no one's been in the house, and the house has been left vacant. And with some different medical issues, and now my dad's helping me out. But with that, the house has been left no one there. Like, no one's using the water, no one's using this area, no one's using the trash. And my parents have, the first time when my mom paid it, she's like, this is ridiculous, we're paying it. I'm like, Mom, it's kind of the way it is. And then the next time, and then my dad tried to get clarification on it, and it's basically just been said, well, that's the minimum, that's the way it is. And as I spoke with John, and I spoke with Amy a couple times, I've said, I get there's a minimum, I get there needs to be something, but I think it's a little bit high in the fact that we're not using it all. I can understand if they were there, like if some people summer-wise or something like that, I can understand that, but there's been no use of water for at least for the past year, going on 2 years. Basically my mom off and on for the past 4 years has been living with me. Has gone back for a couple weeks here and there, but for the past 2 years, they've been basically with me.
So the issue is that we charge you $491, $208 for the base of sewer, $62 base of water, and $221 base for trash. Since you're not using the house the last 2 years, you're asking for an abatement for non-use.
Right.
Non-use for fiscal year 23 and 24. Am I correct?
Basically.
The last 2 years?
Basically, yeah.
The last 2 years. So total abatement would be $491 times 2.
Correct.
So I just want to put the issue on the table.
Yeah.
All right, and the issue is your parents are living with you because of medical reasons, and you're asking for an abatement.
Right.
So I'm gonna tell you what I think. I think it could be an abatement.
Sure.
Thank you.
And we just explained my side, okay? 'Cause, atypically, we don't waive the base charges.
Right.
But I wanted to bring it before the board because they can see fit to do what they need to do. if it makes any sense.
I mean, I do, and then when I did go to the office and spoke with Amy, and then Amy passed me to, was it Dawn?
Sure.
No, Michelle gave me the bills, and I got information, I gave it to you, but there was a gentleman that came out.
Oh, Dan Mullen?
Yeah, so Dan's like, he's like, you know, there's instructions and this and that,
Yeah.
and I said, I get that. I said, my parents lived in that house since early 70s, you know, and all that. It's just, right now, medically wise, there's just nobody there.
So it'll be a medical thing. So
And that's
you
the-
made,
No, it's a medical
And that
issue.
way,
you made a motion.
Yeah.
I make the motion to give you the abatement based on.
For 2 years.
For the last 2 years.
Thank you.
Total $982 to,
Times 2.
I got it, 491
Yeah.
times 2 is
Times two.
$982,
Right.
it looks like to me. So, there's a motion to, lower the bill, total of $982. Do I have a second?
Need a second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 There you go.
And then just.
Staff doesn't have the authorization to do what we do.
Right.
The medical thing, so fine, I hope you're feeling better, Laurie.
It's okay.
Just so you know that you can only get an abatement one
Right.
time.
No, I understand. Hopefully, going forward, we'll figure some stuff out in
Mhm.
regards to the house and
Mhm.
stuff, so,
Okay.
you know.
good luck.
All right.
Yeah.
I wish you well.
No,
A long life.
seriously.
This curveball was not anticipated, so, you know, who knows? But we'll see. But thank you.
Well, we're at the borderline.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
I just say I'm 10 now.
I'm
You even get to do it for me?
I'm not, I'm the oldest one. John's just behind me.
Yeah.
Well,
All
the way
right.
he does his
We're all
math,
getting up
the
there.
way he does his math for age-wise to make himself younger, so he's 91. So he adds it
Good
together,
for
so
you.
he's 10 now.
Good for you, Mr. Curran.
Numerology.
I hope you have a good summer.
Oh, yeah, it's up to the guy upstairs.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right there.
It always is.
Always is.
Oh, yeah. As I say, one day at a time. All right, I thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Okay. That's good, that's important.
All right.
Okay, that's for you. Where are we now?
I'll meet you.
Oh, yeah.
Town meeting. Is that coming up?
Next week.
So did you get it fixed? The numbers are in all the wrong places?
Yes, we did.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Look at this.
So does the capital budget approve all this stuff?
It was a-
Or have a big issue at town meeting?
No, it's all approved. Everything that's in here has been approved.
Go ahead.
I want to- okay. All right.
All right, Andy, want me to put that in there? Okay, hold it right there.
Do we need to go through them? Or
No.
you folks all set? Okay.
Almost there.
We're good, Larry.
I mean, you want to go through them for the camera so people know ahead of time.
No, if you want to, like Amy says, if you want to vote on them, that's fine.
We can vote it as a,
As a lump sum.
as an individual or as a lump sum,
As a lump.
depending on the chair.
It's a lump sum, we got it at the bottom here. We got on page 4.
So if you want to vote, accept the capital improvements for town meeting, as what's written,
What page are those on?
I think section,
Wait a minute. Here we are. Yeah,
section
they're
one.
on page 9. Start. Cemetery and Greens, library, wastewater.
So this is the sheet you want, right?
Yes.
All right. So we can vote as a package. You want me to read them off?
All of these?
No, you know, you got the one at the bottom, 5,247,000.
Yeah, you're looking at the warrant, John, so that some of the things are going to be different. There's going to be an amended warrant handed out at town meeting.
All right,
Bob has the copy of the,
I'm sorry, all right.
no, it's okay.
We're looking at this, right? Are we looking at this page?
Yes.
Well, that's-
Right, so let's just go through each grouping. The
All right.
DPW, CT, and G is 0. Okay? Under DPW engineering, $50,000 for the NPDES permit,
FD,
all right? And 0 on everything else.
correct.
Under highway, 0. No money for road reconstruction,
That's gonna be in the fall.
that's gonna be in the fall.
Yep.
And no trucks,
Nope.
so that's 0. All right, any of this is gonna be on the fall for the highway? The trucks?
We're not sure yet. We're gonna try to, but right now.
Okay, so it's 0, okay. So the next grouping is enterprise fund wastewater.
Correct.
Wastewater treatment plant effluent pump and tide gate replacement, 0. I read the long time, okay. The collection system repairs, CIPP, $200,000.
Yes.
Mobile auxiliary pump with station connections, $200,000.
Yes.
Truck for $45,000.
Correct.
Truck for $45,000.
Correct.
We need them?
Yes.
Okay.
No plows, John.
I bet they come with plows.
No plows, John.
Do
Just wanna
they
make sure.
They don't, okay.
They don't have
Oh
plows.
my God, I'm gonna get hit by lightning here.
All right, so I'm just, RAS and WAS sludge valve, 75,000.
Yes.
Surf Avenue, Ocean Street, main trunk sewer lining, 1.5 million.
That's off.
Huh?
I don't believe that's
You
on.
took that off?
Is that on?
Is that going on the fall?
Perhaps.
Okay.
Depends what we have for retained earnings and borrowing power.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a question mark, okay? We'll know by Monday. Aeration air blower replacement,
Yes.
new enclosure, $100,000. The SRF wastewater collection system sewer replacement, $7,856,000. Is that on?
Yes, it is.
It's on. So depending on the Surf Ave Water, Ocean Street main trunk sewer lining of 1.5 million, it could be 8.5 or $10 million in change.
Yeah, I think we've moved that. That shouldn't be on there. I think we moved it, we bumped it off to FY '26.
Okay, so we'll know on Monday.
Yeah.
So when we make the vote, we can include it with a question mark that could be taken off.
That's Plymouth Ave, isn't it?
That,
The last one is.
So that, the $8 million, $7.8 million is Plymouth Avenue. Okay, next.
I have a question. Is
Sure.
that coming out of the check that we got from last year?
The check.
The grant.
The grant?
Oh, it's coming out of the
grant money?
ARPA
Is that-
funds.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but
okay,
we still
that's what
need
I meant.
town
I
authorization.
couldn't remember what it was called.
This is the.
I remember the big
This is
check.
the, we applied for an SRF grant, reimbursable through the, it's our sewer program, or clean water program, I guess you call it. And we didn't get shortlisted for that. So I think this was pushed off until we do get shortlisted.
Which one's that?
The 7.8. We applied for Plymouth Ave and we applied for this. We got shortlisted for Plymouth Ave and we got town meeting authorization to go ahead with Plymouth Ave pump station.
So what's the ARPA money for?
The ARPA money is for Plymouth Ave and that will offset the cost of money that we have to borrow for this whole project. We got bids coming in. Got bids Friday for the filed sub bid, sorry, and then the general bid 2 weeks later. So we'll know within the next 3 weeks or so, where we stand with the Plymouth Ave pump station project. But we got SRF funding for that, and then we're gonna spend the ARPA funds first, and then borrow the rest when we have to.
through the SRF program.
Yeah, and you don't have to actually borrow the funds until you're actually done with the project, so they front all that money up. So you don't have to pay interest on that, you go through the project on that. But the 7.8 was a list of priority sewer lines that needed to be replaced, and we didn't get shortlisted on that, so we're gonna reapply, and we might be able to get, usually they don't give you notice till like the end of November, which is town meeting, so it might be late for the fall. It might have to go the fall and spring.
So this is off the list.
I'd say that's off the
All
list.
right.
So that's
So
awesome.
that's,
Yeah,
well,
sorry
I
about
wasn't told that, but okay.
So we're gonna move that to the fall?
No, we'll
Or
probably
input
apply
26.
again for this SRF funding.
No, but I'm asking questions, is that we're
It'll
not
be
gonna,
moved
we're not
to the
gonna, we're
following
not gonna town
spring.
meeting until we actually know we got a grant.
Exactly, so it'll be the following spring that we actually.
just move this over to
ask town
26.
meeting. Once we get on a list, then we'll ask town meeting to authorize the funding.
So we're moving that 7.8 million over to FY '26.
And at the same time, we're trying to get the town to help us,
Do it.
help
Yeah,
the wastewater pay for some of this stuff, because
it's too much.
there's a burden on the users right now.
Like I said, we have to get to the actual tax base that's been improved by the wastewater. I mean, we've had houses that are assessed for 200,000, they get bought up, and then you do a McMansion, and you only could do that because you had sewage, and the taxes go up to well over triple. And that, the same property on 3,000 square feet. There's one right across from St. Anne's, it's a huge McMansion, but it was only 3,000 square feet of land. The taxes, it was assessed for around 200,000. Now it's up to around 600,000. The only reason it were able to be built was because we had this bridge. So that increased the tax base many times. We could hire someone to go through that tax base. Libby Bates was gonna do it.
So basically this SRF 7.8 million, we could be going to town meeting and asking for a shared responsibility in the
Correct.
funding,
You're right, Bobby.
because it's a big enough project.
Yeah. I mean, again,
So I mean, we have to go to town meeting
Yeah.
and,
We
so
only
it
have-
gives us a year to pull something together
Yeah,
as for a presentation
correct.
for the town to say yes or no about sharing non-sewer tax base
Right.
to the sewer tax base.
Yeah. It's only, what, 40, how many people are on that? 4,200 or something?
Around in 42, 43?
10,000.
No, it's only
Yeah.
4,200 people on the sewage.
No, I understand it, but out of 10,000 water users.
Yeah, correct.
So 42% of the town is on it. What we're asking is to increase that number, similar to what we did at sewer 2,000,
Correct. What was that, 60/40?
60/40.
Yeah,
Yeah, based on, because a lot of the public buildings were on that sewer line.
correct. Yes,
Police, fire,
yeah,
schools, town hall,
yep. I agree.
downtown,
Yep,
and basically that downtown was a big commerce plus for the town. Because they couldn't have a restaurant in the downtown because they didn't have a sewer.
T-Rock.
So that's the reason why it was split.
Post office, everybody.
I remember everything.
It's good, because I don't
I
know
do
any of
remember
that
George
stuff.
Bush too, and the vice president debate.
Sewer 2,000, yeah.
All right, the next grouping is water enterprise. Water meters replacement,
Yes.
$100,000.
Yes,
Water main upgrades, $120,000.
yes,
Well cleaning and rehabilitation, $50,000.
yes.
Old Plain Street water main replacement,
Zero.
Pushed off to the fall, or spring. Paul and I talked about it the other day.
so basically move that to fall.
Yeah. And the same with the 800,000.
And then Caswell Street Canal to Bree Beach, 12-inch water main replacement,
Pushed off.
pushed off to the fall. Question. When you go to do this water main, Caswell Street, are we gonna do chapter 90 money to replace, and actually replace the road, curb to curb?
It's in our plan to repave that road, but I'm not gonna do it until the water's done.
Right, I understand that. Is that gonna be part of the project?
Yes.
Okay.
But it won't come out all of water.
It won't come out of all the water. And let me explain a couple of things, all right? We put the $600,000 in there for the old Plain Street because it's been something that's been on the hook for, since I was here last time. But there wasn't enough in retained earnings. So we're gonna put it off until the fall or the spring so we can start rebuilding what we have. And Paul didn't think it was necessary to do it right away, so we held off on it.
Okay. So, and then replacement of water pickup truck?
Yes.
45,000.
Yeah.
So we've got the meter, the main,
You got one, you got two.
the well cleaning, hold off on Old Plain Street, hold off on Caswell Street, and
Yes.
and buy the truck.
Yep.
Okay, so that's it. So I'll make a motion to approve moving forward with all those items that are not being put off.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We're moving on, new drain layers application. It's a good bit right here, Annie, hold on to that. Who we got here? Diane, you wanna take that? Drain layers,
What do you want me to do with it?
make a motion, really.
Are we doing anything, are we getting any information on that, or just make a motion?
It's just, yeah, it's
Where
been
is it?
approved by Clint
And me.
and.
Oh, it's already
and
been?
Sean,
Okay, I'll make the motion.
that we, it's here, this one. here.
This one?
Yeah, make it.
First one, right?
Yeah.
So,
Only one.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to authorize the 2024 drain layer license application for Sam Speakerman of Speakerman Excavating.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, he's all set.
You can speak.
Except FEMA grant, who's that, Rod?
Yes.
Is that the one down on Ocean Street?
Dyke Road.
Oh, okay.
Dyke Road, you got the sluice way
Yep,
with the tide gates. The tide gates allow the water to go out, and they prevent the water from backing up into the polder area, which is all the land that's below sea level that was built on a long time ago. So that dike protects that low-lying land for the houses along Plymouth Ave. Plymouth Ave is at like elevation 2, and you get the tide rising, well, sea level 4.5, 5 feet. So they're below sea level, half the tide. Anyways, so in 2019, and even prior to that, we've been looking at the dike. We did a hydraulic study back in, I think, 16 or 17, looking at what we would do in terms of impacts from sea level rise. Because the water goes out, but it only drains at a quarter of the tide. So as the tide starts to come up in the harbor, the gates aren't open. So the water that's coming into the tributary to the Green Harbor River, runoff from storms and whatnot, accumulates behind there, and then it's released out those gates when the tide is low. But it's only draining like at a quarter of the tide. When sea level rises, depending on how quick. Right now, it's, we don't even really, it's not probably even measurable. It might be a couple of tenths or something like that in the last 10 years or something. I'm not sure what it is. I don't think anybody's come out and actually admitted to what it is. But it's supposedly supposed to rise 2.5 feet in 50 years or something like that. Anyways, they did the study and they said we're going to need more gates or larger gates to let the water out. And right now, we have a structure that is getting close to the end of its useful life. There's plenty of life left in it, but the cost to rebuild it, repair it, without increasing the size of the gates is probably somewhere around $2 million. And so we commissioned an alternative analysis back in 2019. I included some of the estimates that they provided in your package, various options. And what we had, one of the options was to replace, basically rebuild another gate next to it, and then fill in the other one with revetment, similar to what you see along the rest of the dike, as being probably a viable option. Obviously, we're gonna need a grant from probably the feds and the state in order to afford something like that. We're probably talking, at the time, I think they were like $6 million or something like that. So we're in the planning stages right now. So we did this study, the recommendation was made. We did go to town meeting and they funded and we followed through on replacing the water main that was exposed, it was hanging, an AC main, it was ready to fall. We replaced that section, got the money from town meeting, we replaced that almost 2 years ago. We also did some repairs while we were in the area that we could do. And then prior to that, we put the main center wall that supports the deck that you drive over, we put in temporary stanchions in, screw jacks inside of there. So those have been in for four or 5 years now. Not that temporary, but they're in there, providing support of that center wall. That center wall has to be rebuilt at some point. But in the meantime, we filed for a grant. In 2022, we filed for a grant. And we just got notice that we got the grant. They're gonna fund a $220,000 project. They're gonna fund $165,000 of it. It was a FEMA grant. And this is why we're here tonight, to get your authorization to accept the FEMA grant, to do preliminary design and permitting of the replacement of the sluiceway. It'll probably take almost a year and a half to 2 years, out my guess, based on the fact that it took them over a year to even get back to us on this grant application. But I'm thinking it's probably gonna take us about 2 years to get through this process. And there's public input and meetings and stuff like that that are built into the tasks to move forward with this. Also, this structure should, they should take into consideration the fact that the dike might be increased in height as well. So whatever structure they build is gonna have to take that into consideration. Like if they build this on piles, they're gonna have to make sure that whatever loading is increased, the piles would have to be able to support it. Or additional piles could be put in next to it without interfering with the structure that that we end up building. But I'm sure that we're probably gonna need some federal funding, because I don't think we're gonna get it from the town. But once we get through this process, then we'll be somewhat shovel ready. We'll have to go for final design. And this is gonna take some time, but it's the early stages of planning, whatnot. And we were planning on moving ahead with this and see where it took us. So they've and town meeting authorized the match, so we have the match already. It's just that they just have to borrow it when we move forward. I do have to go out and select a designer for this. I had a designer do the application, it was tie and bond, but I still have to go out and solicit proposals, go through that selection process and come back to you to have them authorize the contract, and then we can move forward with the study once we get somebody on board. So,
I have a question. So in the study, they're gonna make their recommendation of which of these alternatives?
Actually,
Or do you really already have an idea of what you?
well, yeah, we in our application, we said replace it.
Okay, all right, so
Replace it and, in
with
order
a
to-
seawall or with a seawall or not with a seawall? Because it's at
Yeah, so
4B is replaced with a seawall.
somehow they'll either dismantle the concrete sluiceway that's there
Right,
in part or in whole, and then they'll fill it in with the revetment
right,
and probably some sort of a slurry wall or
okay,
something in the core to keep it, the water from passing.
okay,
So they'll fill that in, but it'll look like, the bank that you have right now on either side. It's got a revetment
yeah.
placed and protecting the road.
Does that mean you don't have to crawl down there with the pigeons again?
No, you still have to do that unless they can figure out a way to keep them out of there. Yeah,
That was a sight to
gross.
see.
I have a couple of questions. So.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah. That's my question.
Go ahead, Bob.
So in the application, in this, the documentation, just for the general public to know, there were 5 options. The first one was no action. The second one is repair the existing structure. The third was the alternative 3, in-kind replacement of the existing structure. And then the fourth one is add a structure next to it and repair the existing structure. And then the last one is install additional structure and replace existing seawall, existing structure with a seawall, which is the most expensive of them. What you're saying is that we're just going to do repair the existing structure and not really beef it up? Is that what you're saying?
No,
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 he said-
we're going
he
to,
said
we're going to plan to replace it.
Replace it.
Right.
Replace it, and then the existing structure will not remain in place. It'll be,
So out of 1, 2, 3, 4A or 4B, which one are we going for?
I believe it was
4B, you said?
it was 4B,
Yeah, to replace.
4B.
right. The
That's what
design,
you're gonna apply for grants for.
we applied for the design of.
No, I understand that, that's just, I'm just trying to go on the record of what alternative 4B is what we're going after?
Yeah.
Correct.
So we're going to have it, we're going to install an additional structure, replace the existing structure with a seawall.
Exactly.
So basically, we're going to go to the most expensive one, but also the one that will protect us in the future.
We're being proactive.
So
Being
it's been at
proactive.
4.8 million, it's double, it could be double that now.
By-
the time we get this thing done.
No, I understand that, but I just, my concern is that we were just going to do just an in-kind replacement and not beef it up for global warming.
Right,
Right.
No, we are going to beef it up for global warming.
right.
And it'll be higher.
And depending how long this process takes, we might have to go in and somehow figure out how to stop the water, because that's been the problem, is that the concrete guides that are cast into the walls are all deteriorated. So we can't put the sluice gate stop logs in to stop the water. Plus, we've got water coming in under the structure and under the wing walls. And, we ended up putting sandbags in there, and we could only get the water down to about this deep. It
Right.
was enough to do our inspection and everything, and it was enough to get the screw jacks in, but it wouldn't be enough to fix the wall. They need it dry in there.
So, I mean,
Or at least most of the wall. We probably could have done some of the wall, but to do it right, you need it dry.
so from a planning perspective and global warming perspective, some of us on this board will not be here when this gets done.
Right.
But at least we are planning proactively to protect the town and not shortchange the town.
And we're also
Right.
gonna have them look at, what would the likely scenario be to elevate the
Correct.
the structure itself, the dike?
I'm good with that plan.
Okay.
Yep.
Who wants to make a
Good.
motion?
I'll let you make the motion, it's your neighborhood.
Here it is, okay.
All right, so to accept the FEMA BRIC grant to conduct preliminary design and permitting of the replacement of the sluiceway and tide gate structure in Dyke Road for $165,000 federal match, to the town's $75,000 for a total project cost of $240,000, and authorize the staff to proceed and have the town administrator enter into a contract agreement for reimbursement with the state and federal agencies.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
good.
Thank you.
You're all done, Rod.
This will help your neighborhood.
Yeah, no, I mean, it has to be done,
Yeah, right.
obviously.
No, I just want to make, I wanted to explain it so that
Yeah.
we're all on the same page.
Mm-hmm,
Most
very
of
good.
We're doing good on the same page.
I'm not sure we're anywhere on the same page, but at least we tried.
Here you go.
Okay,
Okay, what do we got now?
You can skip over one, we just did it.
discussion. Capital outlay.
We did that, didn't we?
Yeah, we just did
Yeah, I
it.
did that.
So there was
We
a,
did that, we did that. We just got the trail at the,
Yep.
that's you, Sean.
Trail.
that's me.
Yep.
So, I have a meeting Friday with the town administrator and the beach commissioner to look at options of repairing and making that trail ADA compliant and way better than what it is. There's some funding available that was voted a few years ago from CPC. One is for $12,000 for design, and the other was, there's two others, one for $20,000, the other one for $22,000 for repairs. But it's, we gotta look at the language in the article to see what we can use it for. If it's like in kind, we can do some stuff. But nonetheless, we're gonna meet down there and talk about moving that fence back where it should be on the woman's property. Trimming the bushes back and making a nice gradual slope down to the bridge.
Is it, what is that, 40-foot road or 80-foot road?
80.
Sean says 80.
I know it's 80.
It's 80.
Yeah. I looked at other drawings on it for other homes that were built. on it.
And you go down there, it's only like 20 feet, not 80.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we get to, we do a lot of damage down there going 80 feet.
Well, you don't have to do damage,
I
but
don't even know where a house would be.
but we need to have it as the public access, because, you know, people in that area really don't need to go to the public beach, they need to go to the beach at Old Rec Center. I don't go to the beach, too much skin cancer. I don't go to the beach.
That's our plan. I'll have more information when we meet Friday, but we are gonna go in there and do a solid job on that.
We're gonna clean it up, I know, yeah.
Are you gonna do it before this summer?
Oh, yeah, like in the next few weeks.
Have you seen it, Bobby?
I was down there the other day.
Okay, all right, so that's,
I don't see it from North Marshfield.
yeah, it's true. We're gonna vote to accept the minutes, I already looked at it, March 25th, 2024. Are you all set?
I'm all set.
You all right on that?
Do we have anything else from you?
Just a superintendent's report. We're gonna talk about drainage.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna accept the minutes. I've read them.
I read them.
Okay, I make a motion, we accept the minutes for March 25th, 2024, open meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes are done. Superintendent's report.
Okay, so we've been inundated with drainage issues because of all the rain we've had the last few months, so we're slowly, thank goodness we have a week of weather that's dry, get caught up on some things. As far as the Countryway and Mayflower goes, we're getting a price from a contractor to rehab all the drainage. It's all been dig safe.
Yeah, I saw Dick Save out there.
Yep, I've already done a request, or started the request, I just need to know how much money we're gonna take out of Chapter 90 to fix it. We've already scheduled the paving. Once we get done with the drainage, we'll go and do that whole intersection over, go up the hill, and branch off down the side streets a little further. And we're also gonna tie in Surf Ave and Ocean Street, that corner where all the drainage was done, so that'll be nice and neat. We're gonna go back to Mayflower with that. So that's what we're working on right now.
Okay. That's a good project that it does need it, I mean, it's really, and that's a school stop too, that's a bus
Well, it's,
for the kids, so
yeah.
it's something that needs to be done. Okay, so that's it for your superintendent's report. Go ahead.
yeah,
All right,
I
so,
have a question.
go ahead.
I got another email from East Street, another resident,
so,
and this one was the
We're
person
going down-
who is very concerned about falling on the rocks.
we're sending a crew down there this week to clean up all of them.
You are sending
Yes.
this? Okay, all right.
What's East Street, you just said East?
East.
Oh, East Street,
So-
okay.
We did a big drainage
Couple
issue down
couple
there years
of
ago.
residents have emailed
Some water
me
problems.
about the rocks. They're everywhere.
That's
So-
right, it was
The
private
rocks
way.
Yeah.
to the beach.
On
Can
the
I
street.
ask you a favor?
Mhm.
When residents do get a hold of you, can you direct them to us?
I mean, I send you the
Yeah,
emails.
just
Yeah.
so I have record of it. and,
Right, I send them all.
Yeah.
This one I just got today, so I didn't send it. But I send them all.
What's the problem? Well,
I mean, I answer them because they're emailing me, but then I tell them I'm sending it to you.
Yeah, okay.
what's the problem?
Why have I not sent it?
No, I just want to make sure that I have, everything comes to us, so I can send it, do a work order.
Oh, right, I send everything to you.
But what is the
I
problem?
think I didn't do it for like a day or and a half.
What is the
or something.
problem?
Sorry.
Jesus Christ, how
It
many
was,
times are gonna ask
I
a
know,
question?
it was,
Rocks on the street.
rocks on the street, a lot of rocks on
Oh,
the street.
yeah.
From the ocean?
Yeah,
Mm.
That's a private way, too.
I know.
Yeah,
That's,
Yeah, I
we have
know.
a little bit of leeway.
You know, the drainage down there cost, Rod knows, because I was there. That drainage on the private way cost how much?
A lot,
400 to 600,000.
not that much.
It was done 3 times, remember Conservation stepped in, and it was draining into the ocean, and the Conservation said, nope.
I remember that.
People had their canoes out, they were canoeing.
I say that because a lot of residents call and they don't like the answer that we give them, they will go to you.
I mean, I have sent every single email that I've gotten.
No, you have,
I forwarded it, but
but there was a couple
I
that,
don't just send the email, I answer that I'm going to get and send it to you and whatever.
Who complained?
About which, the rocks
Yeah.
or me?
No, I just.
Is anybody
No,
complaining about
no,
me?
No, I
I'm
just think
just
that,
curious.
No, I send everything to you. I think the last one, it was like over the weekend or something, something happened and then it took me like 2 days to send it to you.
I guess the message I'm trying to say is I don't want you to get taken advantage of, because some of these people have already been told an answer and they don't like it, they go to you.
Sometimes that happens, like the people that came in here with the, I mean, that's what we're here to do,
Mhm.
is help the residents, so I'm fully aware that that's the job I took on.
Is it the cobbles? Is it the cobbles that come from the ocean?
I don't know where they come from. Where do they come from?
The ocean.
The ocean, okay. I mean, yeah. I didn't ask where they're coming from.
The Conservation has to get. An
How dare
emergency.
the ocean come in with rocks?
Right?
Cobbles, Bobby, they
Oh,
cobbles.
shit.
Rocks and water. We have so much,
It's like a shotgun.
such an abundance of.
Okay, I'll make a, you guys all set? Everybody all set? John, you all ready?
I am.
Amy, you all set?
Before you hang up on that camera, I would like people at home to come to town meeting and support the DPW. Without your support at home, we can't do our jobs.
That is so
So
true.
please,
Yes.
come to town meeting and support the DPW. Thank you.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's so true. Okay, make a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn, second?
All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
See you
Okay.
at town meeting.